My name is Kevin McAfee. I am originally from Belfast in Northern Ireland, and I immigrated to New Zealand over 20 years ago now. And I wish I had done it sooner. Married to Lisa, and we got two kids, Neve and Joshua. And I think anything about me would be, I think I just love working with people.
So you came here 20 years ago and you married your wife in New Zealand?
Yeah, met Lisa here after 3 years, 2.5 years being in New Zealand. And then we had it was a bit of a long distance because I was traveling with work. And then I came to Auckland and settled here and lived with her. And then we got married in Queenstown.
What brought you to New Zealand?
I think I traveled the world initially. That's the real reason, I suppose. I bought a ticket and traveled around the world. It was back then. It was a bus stop ticket with Star Alliance. You could go to 7 cities, and you could jump out of the city and travel to another city and get on a plane and go there. So there was a lot of flexibility with the flight. And yeah, when I came to New Zealand, I met a couple of Irish guys in an Irish bar in Auckland, sorry, Scottish guys, and we basically had a few beers and started to travel around. And I just felt that New Zealand was very like Ireland, but maybe not as modernized. And but I just loved it. The fact of the matter was, you guys got the sun, and I think one thing that stood out for me was there was a real diversity of people here, and that's not something that I would see in Ireland. You know, it was generally Europeans, Catholic Protestants, maybe the odd Asian because they were working in the hospitals or the care centers. But here there was a huge mix, and I think that was something that stood out to me. That everybody, it didn't matter about what race or creed you were. It was just everybody was here to have a happy life, and that stood out pretty much from the start.
By the way, I just want to say this. So you really go to Irish pub and meet
Uh,
Scottish and
wherever
start.
the Irish are the official gypsies of the world. There's no two ways about it. So wherever you go, if you want to meet someone, you go to an Irish pub and you'll be fine. So
Really?
yeah, like because they'll start talking to you. Someone in the bar. I remember I was in Houston on the same travel. It was a bit of a goal of mine to go to NASA, and I went to Houston and. I just jumped on a taxi and said it was really extremely hot, like, and that's just like if you're from Ireland, the heat is something you can tolerate for an hour or so, but the heat was immense in Houston. And I just jumped on a taxi and said, look, can you take me to an Irish bar? And I went into they took me to I can't remember the name of the bar now, but they took me to this Irish bar, and I was standing talking to the guy at the bar, and he actually knew a friend of mine who lived in San Francisco, a football tournament. So here you are on the other side of the world from Ireland in Houston, and you're talking to a barman who knows a guy who you went to school with. He's my sister-in-law's brother, you know, so we're not
What?
officially related. Yeah, honestly, unbelievable. Yeah, so they knew Seamus, and so it was just like this world is such a small place, you know. But the thing about it was that going back to the point is if you go into an Irish bar and start talking, I'm not going to say they'll guarantee you'll know somebody, but they'll be pretty friendly and they'll give you some good directions on things to do or go and see or help you with whatever they can, you know. So and that was the idea of going to the Irish pub. And even I've been to China as well. You just jump in and say Irish pub, and they'll take and you meet European people or you meet people, you know, who are traveling around the same boat as you know, and it's just you just start talking, and yeah, it's just a gateway to kind of making friends, I suppose.
To be honest, this is not the first time people say that, but I always thought it was a joke. Didn't know
Oh,
literally
it's the
something.
truth.